Okay, guys, I'm going to try to make this video one more time, but I'm coming with you now. I am 17 weeks and 3 days. I had to count, but today is August the 26th, 2019. I wanted to try to give you some type of update up to this point. So I guess it's like a first trimester up until now. And but let's pick up where we left off. When we left off, I got my BFP. Then I told you all what my first beta and second beta were. If you saw the video in between those two, I also mentioned something about spotting, brown spotting, and how the nurse said it was normal. And so after the BFP, I did have on and off brown spotting. And then 6 weeks and 3 days before we had our ultrasound, 6 weeks and 3 days, that night I was laying on the couch. It's about 9 o'clock and I felt a gush of something come out. And I went to the bathroom and it was blood everywhere. So my husband was there too, of course. So I went to the bathroom, I wiped, and I saw a clot. And at that time, I thought it was a baby. I didn't know how many babies I had at this point. And so my husband looked at it, I looked at it, and he was like, okay, just flush it. And I was like, I know. And now I know it wasn't a baby, and you know it wasn't a baby, but I thought it was a baby. But I said a little prayer and I flushed it. But it wasn't, so I did look at it very closely. Like I really inspected this clot. I didn't know what it was. So after that, I called my doctor because I had his cell phone number. I was still with my fertility clinic. I called him and he said, 9 times out of 10, it's probably okay. Everything's probably okay. Because in my mind, of course, I'm thinking I'm losing my baby. Like, I'm miscarrying. I don't know what's going on. And so I wasn't crying, but as I was talking to the doctor, my voice did get kind of shaky. But I didn't actually cry because, of course I don't want anything bad to happen. But I just kept saying, it's hard to accept God's plan in some things, but I kept reminding myself, it's all in God's hand. There's nothing that I can do. And, but so he told me, take it easy. I had already had my first ultrasound appointment scheduled for the very next day. And so, he was just like, go in for your ultrasound tomorrow. It was actually tomorrow afternoon. He said, go in for your ultrasound tomorrow and see how everything is going. So I laid down the rest of the night. I put a pad on. And, I did bleed. I think I changed the pad once that night. And then that morning I showered. And, there was really nothing left. Like, it was just brown spotting at that point. And so I called my job that night and let them know. So, well, this is what I told them. I told them that I didn't feel well physically and emotionally. So I needed to work from home. So, and my job is very understanding in that sense. So, at that point they didn't know that I was pregnant, but just knew that I needed to work from home. So I did work from home still that morning up until my appointment. We went to the appointment and they did an ultrasound, and of course that's when we saw the 2 babies. I saw your ultrasound of our first ultrasound of the babies here in a second. And also I was diagnosed with a subchorionic hematoma, which is basically a blood clot. When I don't want to say it wrong, but you can Google it. But it's a blood clot. It's basically when the placenta moves, shifts a little bit, and leaves like this clot of blood. And it usually dissolves. Some usually resolves itself. Most of the time, 90% of the time, from what I looked up. And from that, the doctor put me on pelvic rest, and I was told no heavy lifting. Also, I drink a lot of orange juice and water, and I just rested whenever possible. He didn't put me on like bed rest or anything, but I did take the opportunity to rest when possible. So, and it was a relief to find out that the babies were okay. I kind of suspected there were 2 in there, just based off of the beta numbers. I figured there were 2 in there, and so when we saw both babies on there, both babies had a heartbeat. We were relieved. We were happy. And I'll show you the pictures here. You can't really see both of them in the same photo, but and this is one baby here. I think this will be baby A. Baby A there. You'll see that's the sac. You'll see the baby B in the next one. They couldn't really get in the same frame, but this is my I had a very large in this photo. You can see a very large clot, hematoma. That's all bleeding there. Near baby B. And then that baby A at 6 weeks and 4 days. I have some notes on the side here. I'm going to look here, and the first heart rate was 129 beats per minute for baby A. I guess it's baby A. I think so. 129 beats per minute for our baby A. And then this is baby B here. And baby B had a heart rate of 129 as well. So, and we had a pretty large hematoma there on the photo. So I was a little worried, but I had Google Queen, that's me. And I do have some bump updates. I took bump updates every week from week 7, I think. I started at week 6. From week 6 all the way up until now. I did skip, I think, week 8 by accident. But I'll insert those photos at the end of this video. So if you want to look at updates, you can look at those. And so my next thing here, I didn't tell you what they were measuring. So at 6 weeks and 4 days, I don't know if I got them on here, but 6 weeks and 4 days, they were both measuring. Actually, I was 6 weeks and 3 days according to this. 6 weeks and 3 days. They were both measuring. Oh, it's right here. They were both measuring 6 weeks, 5 days. So at 6 weeks, 3 days, they were both measuring 2 days. Well, one was measuring. Baby A was measuring 6 weeks and 6 days, and baby B was measuring 6 weeks, 5 days. Okay, that's the first one. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. We're already at 9 minutes, but okay. The next, so during that time, my symptoms were just extreme exhaustion. I was very hungry, and that's really about it. I didn't have any nausea or anything. So the next ultrasound was at 8 weeks, and the twins were doing great. The clot was still there, but it had decreased in size, so I was happy about that. Um, and I was still having brown spotting, and the spotting was continuous, but at that point I was using a liner. But it was, I continued to spot, and at 8 weeks my nausea did start throughout the day. And I did go to GNC and I got some ginger chews, and those helped with the nausea. It helped. It worked automatically. And I was still very tired. And then I also experienced nausea like when my stomach was really empty, and that's still happening all the way through to this point. Starting at 8 weeks. When my stomach gets really empty, I get very nauseous, and that's just what it is. But I don't have morning sickness. I don't have nausea throughout the day. It's only related to eating at this point. But so 8 weeks. Oh, I have an ultrasound here, and okay, this is. I'm gonna just say this is baby B. This is baby B right here. Definitely looks like a little girl. You see the little head and the little legs. And baby B at 8 weeks exactly had a heart rate of 178 beats. 178 beats at 8 weeks. And at that time they was measuring, if I can find it on here. They always tell me on here. But it was, if I'm not mistaken, 8 weeks. It was still measuring like 2 days ahead. So it was measuring 8 weeks, 2 days. And I believe both of them were at that point. Yep, 8 weeks, 2 days. There it is. And so here's baby A. Looking very similar there. A little tadpole. And there's the hematoma. Quite definitely smaller than what it was the last time. So it's decreased in size. So at that point, at the brown spotting, I was like, okay, we're heading in the right direction. And baby A's heart rate was 173 beats per minute. And it's good. It's good. Okay, moving right along. The next ultrasound, which you saw a video of, was at 9 weeks and 5 days. 9 weeks and 5 days, when I went to the ultrasound, I was still having spotting maybe every couple of days, and it would stop, and I have it again, then it would stop. And spotting is the same brown spotting as really like when I wipe. I would see it, and I would just have a liner on as a backup. And at 9 weeks, 5 days, that's when we found out that the clot was no longer visible on the ultrasound. The doctor, I just, it's resolved, but it's no longer visible on the ultrasound. I pretty much had the same symptoms as at week 8, week 8. I was feeling very nauseous, and it's also when I graduated from my fertility clinic. So it was a very exciting day for my husband and I, and we transferred our information to our OB. So here are the photos. You saw the video already, but the photos here, you can see baby A and baby B. There's a lot of them. So, but they pretty much all look the same. But here's a good shot there. But so we have, I don't know which is which, who is who here, but I think they always measure. I think when you do the vaginal ultrasound, because I was still doing vaginal ultrasounds at this point, The ultrasound is kind of mirrored. And so I think they started with baby B. You know what? No, they started with baby A. So baby B's on the top here. So baby B had a heart rate of 178, and at 9 weeks and 5 days, they were also measuring 2 days ahead. So they were measuring at 10 weeks. I think they were both at the same. And baby A had a heart rate of 173, measuring 8 weeks. 8 weeks and 1 day. 8 weeks and 1 day. So they were both doing good. I was excited. So, husband and I was excited, and yeah. So that very next weekend, though, we announced to our family. So we invited them over for a cookout, and we told them, hey, well, just invited them over. It was actually right after the 4th of July, so it kind of made sense. It was the weekend after 4th of July. We invited both sides of our family together, which we haven't really done since we got married. And so everyone came here, and we had a nice little video. Maybe I'll and my sister kind of recorded it. She went live on social media, so I'll have to try to see if there's a way I can download that video to show you like my family's reaction, and also kind of like download it just for us to be able to keep it and show them later on, how much they were loved by everyone that came to celebrate. Well, they didn't know why they were there, but they came to celebrate. But we announced, and we just told our families like through the form of a little video, and it also had that same ultrasound that you all saw at 9 weeks 5 days. So we attached that in there and just put some music to it. But it was very nice. So because everyone was excited about these babies, not just us. So let's keep going. At 11 weeks and 5 days, we graduated from our fertility clinic 9 weeks 5 days. At that time, I did not have an OB. My fertility clinic gave me a recommendation for an OB and stated they were transferring my records, but I didn't have an appointment set with them. I didn't know how long it would be before I saw a doctor. And at this point, I had been getting like ultrasounds every week and a half. So I wanted to see and make sure they were okay. So I found an elective ultrasound place, sonogram place, or that they're not like a doctor's office. They really just do like 3D ultrasounds and 4D ultrasounds. But they did have an option where you can do like an early ultrasound, just to check the heart rate and stuff. And that's what I did. So I went to visit her at 11 weeks 5 days, and I had that here. So she wasn't a doctor, but she did do an ultrasound. She didn't get very good photos, but this is baby B. Can't really see. Baby B was kind of hard. This is my first abdominal ultrasound. And this is baby A. She got a lot of photos of baby A because baby A was just in a good position to get a photo. But she only got that one photo of baby B. So, but she got a lot of great photos of baby A. And the heart rate at 11 weeks 5 days for baby A was 160. And baby B was 162. So, And then, just so happened, the very next day, I get a call from my OB saying that I have an appointment scheduled 2 days later. So, I had an appointment with them on the 12th. So, but at that time, I was, the nausea had went away. You remember that nausea that I was in, the morning sickness basically went away. But I was still getting nauseous on an empty stomach, which is still happening now. So I have to make sure I eat in a timely manner. And then at that time, I started to experience heartburn and indigestion, acid reflux, and so all of that started then. The spotting had officially stopped at 11 weeks. That time, no more spotting. So now we're moving on up to my first OB appointment. We're at 20 minutes. At 12 weeks, we had ultrasound. I had the same, that was only 2 days apart. So I had the same symptoms. I started to feel a little bit of flutters and stuff. So this is my 12-week ultrasound. Here, baby B. Really only got 2 good photos, but that's baby B. And he or she, we don't know the gender yet. He or she was facing downward. And baby A, that's a good profile photo of baby A at 12 weeks. And baby B's heart rate, glad they print these out on here, was 168. And baby A's heart rate was 164. So, and she did get both of their heads together. So, but that was at 12 weeks. Okay, the last ultrasound that I've had since. So, at 14 weeks, around there, I called at 14 weeks, I called the OB office because I was just having brown spotting again. Now, this brown spotting was all, I had a bowel movement and I had some brown spotting. I went walking and then I had a bowel movement, had brown spotting for 3 days. It was only really when I wiped. It really wasn't even necessary to wear a liner because it was only when I wiped. But so I left a message just because I was like, well, the doctor's there. He's a good resource. He or she, well, it's actually a she, but so she's a good resource. And when I left a message, he said, well, if it continues for 5 days, then come in. Because I didn't have the clot had dissolved at this point at 14 weeks. So I went in at 14 weeks and 4 days, and they gave me another ultrasound. So, and I have it here. Everything looked great. They couldn't really figure out why I was spotting. They looked at the placenta of both babies, in particular baby A, because baby A was closest to the cervix, and the placenta was high up. It was an anterior placenta, but it was nowhere close to the opening of the cervix. So they ruled out the placenta previa, and and the cervix was nice closed, and the lining was still thick and good to go. So they really couldn't give like a reason for why there was any type of, and it was still just that a little tiny bit of brown spotting, which actually ended up going away. Let me just give you the update now. So it actually ended up just going away, and now, fast forward, now I'm 17 weeks 3 days, no spotting for like the last 2.5 weeks. So I still feel a little bit of flutters here and there, but I don't feel like movement every day. I am starting to pop. I'll insert some photos, like I said, so I'm already sitting down. So, but I'll insert some photos that I've been taking on my Baby Center app. And yeah, but let me show you the last photos we've gotten since we've seen the babies at 14 weeks 4 days. So this is baby A. and baby B. And then I took a picture of baby A's finger. She got a good shot at it. So I thought it was cute. She labeled it baby A's finger. So she gave us so many photos of the same photos. So I'm like, I don't know if we're supposed to pass them out or what, but this is baby A's heart rate was 155 beats per minute at 14 weeks and 4 days. And baby B's heart rate was 159 at 14 weeks and 4 days. So heart rate did go down, but you know, I think that's normal from my Google research. So I'm not concerned about that. But and then this whole heart rate thing about gender, whatever they are, as long as they're healthy, which we don't know yet. So at that 14 weeks and 4 days appointment, I did ask her if she could see, but she wasn't able to see at that point. Baby B's positioning is just so difficult for this abdominal ultrasound. It's just really hard to see baby B to begin with. So hopefully when we go back for our anatomy scan, which will be closer, actually 20 weeks. I thought it was at 19 weeks, but closer to 20 weeks. Yeah, and then we'll find out the gender. We won't do a gender reveal just because it's just a time for me and my husband to find out together. Then we'll just share with family when we're ready. And that's it, y'all. This is a long video, and it's because I haven't been making videos, but I had to get something out here. And my babies are doing good. I'm believing and trusting in God. I haven't had another ultrasound since week 14 because at some point I was getting a little addicted to having ultrasounds. I thought about going to get another ultrasound to find out the gender early. But I'm just going to wait for the anatomy scan, which I know is going to go well. So yeah, thanks for following my journey, and you know, I'm praying for you all, and I ask that you all continue to pray for me, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.